sometimes daydreaming is important. As I speak to you here today, I just had this moment where I'm doing work and I just had some ideas that came into my head. And this is around creative stuff. So what do? Do I ignore them? Or do I capture them? Or do I ruminate and spend time with them? For me, a lot of times, if it's a valid thing and it's interesting, I do something where I'll capture it on my voice recorders or my phone. I'll just say, hey, or I'll ask one of the computer technology things, hey, capture this as a note. For me, as a creative person, I have to get as many ideas as I possibly can. And if I get less than that, I feel weird. Like if it's a good idea that came in my head and I just let it flitter away and hoping that it'll come back again, that creates like weird stress for me. I don't know how it is for you, but if it's an ideal about a story or about a business ideal, to me, I feel like I have to capture this. I was listening once to Tiago Forte doing a discussion with someone, and we were looking at these different types of people who are productive, and one of those ones was the librarian. And that is a person who likes to capture ideals and thoughts and keep them in a certain way. And then there was another one, it was the architect who likes to create these really elaborate systems. For a long time, I found myself being like a librarian. If it's a good idea, I have to put it somewhere. I may need it somewhere at some point. If it's a work idea, it's literally, I don't know how it is for you, but I literally get dozens of ideas about work all day long. So what do? I gotta work. I can't just stop waiting all day, and every single time I get a thing that pops into my head, I just go squirrel, and I just go and look for the nut. I gotta find an appropriate way to capture them. So I use voice recordings primarily. It's a very helpful thing. I would recommend that you do something like that, or if you're an analog person, having a notepad next to you and reviewing the notepad. Notes don't make sense if you just write them down, you never look at them again. But like having a notepad next to you and then saying to yourself, let me capture this information. Let me write it down, then review it later. Because this is Winston's view on our brain. Our brain is for having ideals and for creating new things in this world. We have been put on this planet, this tiny planet in the middle of the universe, a tiny speck, to create abundance. And the way many of us create abundance is by what forms in our brain first. So whether we're building a building or a story or painting, whatever it might be, a lot of times things are created twice. Created in our brains first and then created in actuality. Sometimes they get amended or appended, but if you got an ideal, and please just put it somewhere. And I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to my voice, it is totally okay to daydream. To just be working on something and your brain just comes up with some fantastical ideal somewhere. And a lot of times I've given myself a hard time, like, oh my gosh, I gotta get back to work. But it's not true. You and I, we can daydream. We can let the things that enter our heads, let them ruminate, let them sit there, let them live there. And then if we think they are valid, then finding a way to capture them is important. To me, that is a way to be fearless with what we're trying to get accomplished in life. We've got to have this sense that when something comes into the brain that's been given to us by the universe, we got to do something with it. And all of us, we have lots and lots of dreams. So next time you daydream, don't beat yourself up. Find a way to capture it or just let it flitter away, whatever it might be. But when you're sitting there, don't say, oh, this is a bad thing, I'm daydreaming. It's a great thing that you are daydreaming. This is Winston with the Fearless Productivity Show. Remember that your productivity is linked to you personally. Every single one of us has a snowflake when it comes to our systems. And so every one of them are uniquely identified to our values, to what's occurred. But the key thing is that when we're getting things done, we're getting the right thing, and we don't let the enemy, in this case fear, dictate how we should or how we shouldn't get it done. So do all the cool stuff. I'd love for you to subscribe and to give me some of your thoughts and your feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.